said to his offensive coordinator, David Yost, listen, we've got to settle this thing down, start to run the football, make life easier on our sophomore quarterback, and they found some tempo and rhythm in that second quarter.
Brock, as you said earlier, of undefeated top 25 teams in college football, Bill Snyder's Kansas State Wildcats, there's not a superstar, there's not huge numbers, there's just wins, one way or another. This is what K-State has done for years under Bill Snyder. It's how they have built it back in 2011. Garrett's return to near the 30. Our Pacific Life game summary details some of that sloppy first half for the Tigers.
Bill Snyder's teams don't beat themselves. They let their opponents come in here in Manhattan and make the mistakes, exactly as Franklin did to open the game. That was the first pass and snap of the game. You see the fumbled snap, and unfortunately, Grant Russell, the senior kicker, continues to add to his struggle. What does Colin Klein do? Well, not pretty, not sexy, but efficient and just enough, and that's the philosophy of this K-State team. Get it to the second half, find a way to win, and avoid the mistakes offensively.
Colin Klein, the junior QB, zone read, handing off to John Schubert, who contributed sophomore running back for a loss on the first play of the second half. Jaquise Smith leads the way.
Missouri played much faster in that second quarter. You see just the 20 yards of offense. Very similar to that first play here to open the half. I don't think if you're Kansas State, running laterally, that extended zone read is going to benefit you. Missouri can really run in that front seven. They've had no success with that zone read play. More success with Klein downhill and some of their play action pass as well.
Pressure off the edge. Klein looks that way, throws, and it is intercepted. Missouri gets an interception. Kip Edwards steps in and picks off Colin Klein. So on the first possession of the first half, Missouri throws an interception. First possession of the second half, K-State throws an INT.
In both slant patterns, Missouri dials up the man blitz. Kip Edwards has the play in front of him the whole way, can see the slant coming, a very deliberate motion from Colin Klein. And the redshirt junior corner jumps in front of that slant and really sets up some tremendous field position for Missouri.
James Franklin, the sophomore QB from Lake Dallas High School in North Texas, from the shotgun on first down. Play fake, swing it to the flat, Agnew. All-America tight end a year ago has made an impact. Third catch. He had only 8 coming into this game, a focal point for Mizzou.
And just as soon as I finish the sentence, if Kansas State doesn't beat themselves, they don't hurt themselves at home, the enormous turnover to begin the second half, and Missouri must make them pay on this drive.
Missouri trying to become just the 6th team since 1990 to come back on Kansas State when the Wildcats lead at the half. Franklin's second down pass is nearly picked. That's Nigel Malone, who already has 3 this year. 2 hands on that football.
And that's an error in baseball. You're giving a quarterback a second chance. That's going the other way, and it's Mo in the end zone. That's all that's between Nigel Malone on that play. That's a misfire. Franklin very fortunate to get another opportunity here on third down.
Third down, and remember the kicking was for Missouri. So the Tigers
from this spot, 4-down territory.
Franklin completes. TJ Moe, the junior who has become the go-to guy for James Franklin, moves the chains to the 21.
What a big play here. Franklin misfires on second down, comes right back to his trusty leading receiver. Ball just a little bit behind, but most capable and able to make the play.
Josie on first down. Tripped up as he comes through the line. Arthur Brown, the middle linebacker, big-time player, transfer from the University of Miami, makes a stop, making it second down and 6. Josie again. Josie hits a wall, keeps his feet, dropped for a loss. That's going to make it third down and 9 yards in the red zone for Mizzou.
A very clear philosophy by Kansas State defensively this afternoon. They are not going to give up the big play. You have seen 2 safeties on nearly every single snap. Franklin's got to take what the defense gives you, and I wonder after seeing that first field goal if this isn't even 4-down territory.
Franklin pressure. Franklin gets rid of it. Incomplete. Heavy pressure coming. Ryan Mueller is the one who gets to James Franklin, and a big call coming. The kicking unit comes out on 4th down. What will be 37, maybe officially 36-yard kick.
And there's a little bit of wind coming into the face right now of Russell.
Yarder is no good.
You said David Yost is not just offensive coordinator, he's kicking coach. Well, he's better start acting as psychologist here because his kicker has got the yips.
Kicking woes continue for Grant Russell, the senior who had been so solid his first 3 seasons, last 2 seasons kicking for Missouri. Tough to figure out what's happened in this his senior year.
Just remarkable. The snap, the whole operation has been right on. Russell right now just can't find it.
And yet, Brock, in a game that is 1 score right now, you expect it to be close. Never know if Grant Russell might be called on late in this ball game again. What impact he might have. Hubert ridden out of bounds into the Kansas State bench. Andrew Wilson there on the stop. Sophomore middle linebacker.
It's a speed option, getting away from that zone read instead of allowing the fast flow. You dictate a little bit. Klein one-on-one there with Lambert, the pitch. And actually, for one of the first times this afternoon, some room and green grass for Hubert.
Junior quarterback Colin Klein in the shotgun. On the first down with the rain starting to fall. As hard as it has all day here in Manhattan. Give it to Hubert again. Stretch play on the zone read. We'll make it 2nd and very short. Kenji Jackson there on the stop. Now rain falling harder now, Brock. Does this affect passing game at all? Downfield passing?
We talked earlier. I don't think at this juncture it does. And you see a good shot of the umpire. He's holding the ball, got the towel over the ball. They rotate enough of those. And unless this just gets incredibly windy and rainy, no, I don't think that's going to dictate the outcome.
Hubert gets it again on 2nd and short with a little block from his QB Klein. Hubert has a first down for K-State near the 45. Madison finally makes a stop.
You see different philosophies with this zone read. You know, Oregon's back there and quarterback long arms. Darren Thomas. Colin Klein really rides that running back, really trying to put pressure on that defense. And as long as your linemen can get to those linebackers in the 2nd level, well, you have some success. Missouri's handled that play okay today with their fast flow. And this is a really big drive, time of possession-wise for Kansas State.
Klein gives it to Hubert again. Hubert dropped this time for a loss by E.J. Gaines. That's going to be minus yards for Hubert, sophomore from Waco Midway High School. As a senior at Waco Midway, broke Waco ISD's single-season rushing record that was previously held by LaDainian Tomlinson.
It's not a bad record to break, is it? Coach Snyder said yesterday, quicker than he is fast. He does pick his spots pretty well in a lot of the zone read they like to do.
Braden Wilson joins him in the backfield for 2nd down. Play action. There is Wilson out of the backfield. Wilson takes a big hit as he rolls across the 45. Kip Edwards brings down the junior, making it Third down here for K-State.
You have that zone read. One of the concepts off of that, watch the flow of those linebackers, and you sneak the fullback out. I'll tell you, the tackling today from Gaines and Edwards and Jackson, the back four of that Missouri defense, has been really solid, limiting the big plays for Kansas State.
Third and long here. Pressure coming. Klein slips away from the pressure, but is still sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Terrell Rosano, the fifth-year senior defensive tackle, gets the pressure on Klein and forces the punt for K-State. So an INT, first possession for K-State, and now a punt on the second possession for the Wildcats.
And look at the change of field position this afternoon. Capitalized on Missouri's early turnover. Had a lot of plays in their end of the field. Have not been able to get it going since the first frame.
High punt, hit the kicker, there's the flag. Fair catch called for inside the 15. And for a Missouri team, 4 penalties, 3 of those are in the red zone. And this is a continuing story for Missouri. Not just penalties, but critical penalties. That makes it first down Kansas State near midfield.
When you play an opponent like Kansas State, you have to avoid your own self-inflicted errors. They are a bend but not break defense. They're an offense that's going to run it and eat some clock. And you just can't afford, after a stop, to make a boneheaded play such as that. That's not even close.
Darvin Reese, the player who is whistled for that critical penalty. First down, Kansas State. 33 penalty yards against Missouri, only 5 against Kansas State in the game. Now can the Wildcats capitalize, put points on the board? Klein, keeper, first down, wrestle down.
It's ugly football sometimes, right? Kansas State offensively, well, you know, we know our limitations and what we do well and don't do well. And after the interception to begin this half, well, I think you're going to see even more conservative play calling from Bill Snyder. Try to get the game in the fourth quarter, win ugly, and count on our opponent to make the critical mistakes, which is exactly what Missouri has done in spots this afternoon.
Toss Hubert sprinting around the corner to make it third and short. Talk about K-State football and winning ugly. Even uglier before Bill Snyder got here. He was hired in 1988. K-State was in an 0-26-1 run. 54 seasons when he wasn't the head coach. In the 20 seasons that he was, in 2 different stints now for Bill Snyder. He retired, walked away, came back. This is his third season back as the Kansas State head coach, and he is the legend here in Manhattan, Kansas. 72 years old as of yesterday. Hubert running on third and short, move the chains to the 30. It is a brand of football. It is Bill Snyder K-State football. 32 years, he's had 2 jobs. Offensive coordinator at Iowa, head coach at Kansas State.
And I love the counterculture. I love you play spread and basketball and grass and all the quarterbacks throwing it all over the field. Bill Snyder says, that's fine. I'll take transfers. I'll take junior college kids. I'll run the system. I'll eat the clock and run ball control. And I'll force you in another silly penalty right here. And we'll just find a way to get to 4-0 and 5-0 and climb into the national limelight once again.
Contact. First down.
Find a way to convert third downs as they just did on that third and very manageable 3 yards. You get some movement, you get some rush, you get hands on hips of a defense. Missouri was off the field, and now you see a defense that's starting to spend a lot of minutes on this grass this afternoon, and it's why they've been so successful leading into the fourth quarter as well this season.
Klein's going to take it on first down, leaning. It'll be 1st and 10 inside the 20 for Kansas State. When you walk into Bill Snyder's office here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, there is Pinocchio everywhere. It's not a coincidence. Bill Snyder loves the story of Pinocchio. Stay with me here. He says that Pinocchio, a young man who was guided into wrong decisions, Geppetto wanted what was right. When Pinocchio came out on VHS, Bill Snyder went around Manhattan, bought up every copy he could, gave it to children, grandchildren, players, coaches. Gilbert breaking away inside the 10, wrestled down inside the 5. First and goal, K-State on a 16-yard run.
17 yards on the play.
Wow. That's Dominique Hamilton, your fifth-year senior, fourth leading tackler, a defensive tackle right in the grasp. And you see the elusiveness of Hubert. As you said earlier, broke LaDainian Tomlinson's records down there in Waco. And he showed you there why.
60 rushing yards, 52 of them on this drive. First and goal, Klein keeper, behind Wilson, Klein, touchdown, Kansas State. A drive that would have ended in a punt, if not for the personal foul, roughing the kicker penalty, extended into a 12-play, 80-yard touchdown drive for K-State. Missouri had Colin Klein and Kansas State stop, forcing the punt. Ruiz commits the penalty. So the drive stays alive for the Wildcats. And like the fight song says, glory in the combat for the purple and white. When this was the Big 8, he has seen the Big 12 come together. He has seen a tumultuous time in the Big 12, but this is indeed the last conference meeting between Missouri and Kansas State. Wildcats love to make a statement at the end of this rivalry. Mizzou's won 5 straight in this series after Kansas State dominated it 13 straight prior to that. Ohio State, Devere Posey still out for the Buckeyes. Their offense really struggling. Dorsey on first down for Mizzou. No gain.
And you can see number 4 flash, one of the few times this afternoon that we've seen Arthur Brown, been a real difference maker for Kansas State this season. He's seen this zone run, and I talked about his instinctiveness and quickness. Now, he doesn't make the play. He sure helps his battery in that front 7 with a 0-yard gain.
James Franklin over the middle, incomplete. 3rd and 10 already for Mizzou.
There's the versatility. I shoot the gap on first down, slow down your run. On second down, I can cover an All-American tight end. This is a real find for Coach Snyder. One of the more gifted players that he's brought to Manhattan via transfer from the University of Miami. You want to point to one guy in particular as to why this is a top 20 unit defensively. That conversation has to start with number 4, Arthur Brown.
High snap. Franklin corrals on 3rd and 10. Batted away, incomplete. He forced that. Intended for T.J. Moe. Emmanuel Lummer, the strong side linebacker, nearly has the pick.
I got to be honest with you, in some ways, as this game is played out this afternoon, Carter, you see a matchup that favors Kansas State. Lemur, a former strong safety a season ago. They have so much speed at linebacker. Their safety all plays so sound, keep everything in front of you. And right now, this defense really controlling the ball game.
Barrows punt. Will stick right around the 31. 5:02 before the 4th, and Kansas State can run the football. It'll be 17-3 going to the 4th.
We giving Bill Snyder an awful lot of credit. He deserves it as a head coach. But defensive coordinator Chris Kosh has got his unit defensively in all the right spots. I've talked about playing sound defensively, and that's keeping those 4 safeties back, keeping everything in front of them, 4 back defenders, and then watch linebacker Emmanuel Lamar. When you're in zone coverage, you got to get what's called sticky. You're not just playing an empty zone. You're finding defenders that are running into your zone. There is nowhere right now for Franklin to throw the ball. Credit Chris Kosh in a defense that's keeping everything in front of them and the underneath coverage getting sticky and making plays.
So heading into the 4th quarter, how does Missouri get it unstuck?
Avoid 3rd and extra long, run on 1st down, have success, have a run-pass play-action balance. This is still a 2-touchdown game, and there is time to get it done.
And yet, 5:02 in the 3rd. If Kansas State can play its ball control offense and play keep away from Missouri, as Klein throws on 1st down, incomplete, making it 2nd down and 10. But if Kansas State can move the chains, move the football, they're going to take a 2-touchdown lead into the 4th.
Oh, and I like that call. Coach Snyder did as well. Exactly to your point, possess the ball, right? Ball control. No, not so fast, as Lee Corso would say. I'm going to play action pass you. And there are actually a number of options there. That's going to be one on film Klein will look at tomorrow and say, I missed my post. I also missed my check down. Lots of options available on that 1st down play pass.
Pistol look on 2nd down and 10. Klein with the tailback directly behind him. Option, toss. Huber has the edge. Huber makes it 3rd and manageable. Under 5 to go in the 3rd. Edwards finally makes the stop. Even after an incompletion on 1st down, K-State gets it to 3rd and about 4 here. Call it 3rd and 4.
Watch them utilize that play clock as well. One of the reasons, and we showed that statistic going into half, that Coach Snyder's teams are so good and that winning percentage so high, he knows how to milk the clock and take advantage of that lead.
Confusion on the call here. 3 seconds. 2. Timeout. Klein and Huber were both confused there about the play call. So timeout for Kansas State.
In a big play opportunity, and then offensively you got to stay on schedule. You got to run it with success early on those early downs and avoid 3rd and extra long, because as we just showed in that replay and video, there is no place to throw when they found themselves in those 3rd and extra long passing situations.
3rd and 4 here. Klein looks to the boundary. Now he's going to tuck it, throw downfield. Harper hauls it in at the 30. That is one of the biggest pass plays of the season for Kansas State. Klein to Harper, rolling it to the 30. That's a 32-yard throw in the air. That is the longest pass play through the air for Kansas State this year.
We talk about transfers and the impact they can have on a program. Chris Harper went to the University of Oregon, was quarterback, who scored a touchdown throwing it, running it, receiving it. He transfers back home and is really turned into Colin Klein's go-to guy outside. They add that element of a big play pass. This is going to be a very tough team to beat.
Huber dropped for a loss. We check in with Robert Flores. Up the road in Manhattan, Kansas. It's another Big 12 matchup. Kansas State and Missouri, who is exploring its conference options. So this could be the last conference meeting between Kansas State and Missouri. 2nd and long. Klein keeps it to make it 3rd and long. Our Big 12 update brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Shows in the Big 12 Conference 6 ranked teams, as many as in the SEC. And remember, the Big 12 is now 10, so 6 of the 10 in the top 25.
And I guarantee you, if you took a poll around the country, this team we're watching this afternoon would be the biggest group of no-names. People not familiar with Colin Klein and Arthur Brown, Chris Harper, the guys that have propelled this program to that top 20 ranking this year.
Flag, false start against Kansas State.
Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's just the 2nd penalty against Kansas State, but how does that affect field goal range here, potentially that 5-yard penalty backing it up to close to 35. Does that change what you do on third
Well,
down?
you just nailed it. You were right there on the cusp of field goal range. You could have taken really a 3-possession lead, and Bill Snyder knows that as he shakes his head. Now it's imperative that if you don't get this first down, you at least create a much more favorable field goal situation.
Very rare empty backfield look on 3rd and 14 for K-State. Klein stepping up, sacked in the pocket, so now back to the 36. Jaquise Smith gets to Colin Klein.
And that is a huge play. Really back-to-back plays with the false start from Kansas State and then the sack from the impact player that we highlighted today, making a play that really knocks them now out of field goal range.
Jaquise Smith, the senior from Dallas South Oak Cliff, moves around the field from Mizzou, gets the sack there, forcing the punt. Ryan Dorr, the junior from Katy, Texas, started his career at South Carolina. And this one up. And does a nice job right at the goal line, down at the 1. A Missouri offense who has sputtered. Well, now he backed up near his own goal line.
Just can't do it any better. You want to talk about a well-coached football team. We can talk about ball possession and time management. Ultimately, it's about your units going out there and executing. And now this volume ramped up as the Tigers start at their own 1.
Franklin gets just a little bit of breathing room on first down. Offensively, Brock, when you're backed up like this, are you thinking first down? Are you thinking just keep it out of the end zone, punt away, and try and change field possession?
You're thinking at all costs, I've got to create room first and foremost. If I have to punt it in 2 downs, as a young quarterback, I'm also thinking be careful with the football.
The eye. Josie wrapped up. 3rd down coming.
I said to you guys last night in our production meeting, the one thing Bill Snyder does remarkably well, and sometimes it's hard to define, is he steals yards. He steals yards in the special teams game, offensively, penalties. As you mentioned earlier, just 2 penalties today. Look at the difference of what you've created with that punt. This drive starting at the -1 has really eliminated 2 plays versus starting at the 20-yard line. Stealing those 19 yards, critical to this team's success.
Franklin from the end zone just releases it on 3rd down. Is it complete to Mo? Incomplete. Line judge says the ball hits the ground. Appeared to.
Play is under further review.
All right, Brock, here we go. Our instant replay protocol. To reverse an on-field ruling, the replay official must be convinced beyond all doubt by indisputable video evidence through 1 or more video replays provided to the monitor. We visit with the replay officials each week. One of those replay officials told us, what I'm looking for is a picture that I can show you, and you can say, oh, I have no doubt what happened on that play. That's the only way that a play is supposed to be overturned.
And then ultimately there's 3 results. They can overturn that play. Play can be called as stands on the field, meaning there's not evidence up here. They call incomplete pass. It's going to play as stand, or confirmed up here in the booth, meaning without a doubt that ball hit the ground.
After further video review, the previous play is confirmed. Incomplete pass, 4th down.
So that means by confirmed that the replay official says, yes, I absolutely saw that the way the officials on the field saw it. It's an incomplete pass. It's a 3-and-out for Mizzou. And Trey Barrow will need a good kick. And they will need a good snap from Bo Brinkley, who's one of college football's best snappers. Barrow backs up Tremaine Thompson to the 38. Thompson gets a good block. Across midfield. Thompson shaking his way down to the 35. The punter Barrow makes the tackle. Kansas State will take a 2-touchdown lead and field position into the fourth quarter. 26-yard return for Thompson. Cats look to protect the lead in the fourth quarter. On to the fourth quarter with 20th ranked undefeated Kansas State leading Missouri 17-3 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Really, the Wildcat is used to seeing Kansas State protect halftime leads. Only 5 times since 1990 has an opponent come back on Kansas State in the second half. Missouri down 2 touchdowns in the fourth against Bill Snyder on birthday weekend for the now 72-year-old Bill Snyder. He says, really, I would like to forget, but Wildcat Nation has not let him. Line rolling, keeping on the first down. Colin Vaughn dropped for a short loss. Luke Lambert on the stop. Let's look at our Pacific Life game summary.
And this is the big one here. Look at the average this season for Missouri through the air, on the ground. And today, Kansas State's group defensively in control. How many times will you see a team with 187 yards of offense as K-State has? Their leading rusher for the season, Colin Klein, now 18 carries, 32 yards, and they're in control of the game.
Basically been Klein and Hubert for the Kansas State offense today. And this year, play fake, Klein throwing again, complete. Sheldon Smith, short of a first down. But on second down, K-State makes it 3rd and short again.
And remember the last possession in Mizzou territory. It was a false start. It was a negative play that knocked them out of field goal range. Wouldn't be surprised here if you see a more conservative call to make sure you can get that field goal to make this a 17-point game.
Anthony Kennelly had the game-winning 31-yarder last week versus Baylor. The first game-winning kick of his life. Keeper stood up close to the first down. It's Matt White, the free safety, sophomore from Keller, Texas, who makes the stop. 4th and short. Go for it here as Kansas State did earlier, or field goal.
You're going to milk all of these seconds, I think, off the play clock first and foremost, and you may very well make the timeout to think through this one.
Klein stays on the field. And that doesn't necessarily mean K-State goes for it here. But they do. Klein leaning, scratching, Klein to the 25. Just enough to move the chains and keep that fourth quarter clock rolling as soon as the chains are set.
And those are big boys in the middle of that Missouri line, as you're going to see Rosano now running off the field. But you're talking Hamilton, Rosano, 2 senior D tackles, both right around 300 pounds, and give some credit to the interior of that offensive line for K-State. You give Klein just a little room, that big frame's going to push the pile.
Hubert, first down run, inside the 20 and more. Hubert rolling down inside the 5. Breaking into the second level, Smith finally tracks him down. 21-yard pickup for the sophomore from Waco Midway High School.
It's Wantu, that's 5'7", 185 pounds, taking on 3 Tigers, driving those legs. On really a play that epitomizes this afternoon. The want-to, the desire, the running ability for Kansas State, doing just enough to control action.
Klein on 1st and goal. Klein brought down at the 2. They pull the big right guard, Colton Freeze, to block for Klein. So now it's 2nd and goal from just outside the 1.
21 rushes for Colin Klein. 21 rushes for 38 yards. And yet on the doorstep of a 21-point lead.
A 100-plus rushing yard game is going to grab your attention, but a tough rushing day, and now Klein's into the end zone again. Third touchdown of the day for Colin Klein. 4-0 Kansas State. Back in the top 25, trying to go 5-0 for the first time since 2000. And the Wildcats work for every yard of it.
That kid's going to be sore tomorrow. On the stat line, you're not going to look at less than 2 yards a carry. You're going to look at 3 touchdown runs that have set the tone today.
It may not be eye-popping, it may not be Heisman material, it may not be sexy, but it is tough football in Manhattan. Cats closing in on 5-0. Kansas State and Missouri have been conference rivals since 1915, so the folks around Manhattan have some opinions about Missouri exploring the option of leaving the Big 12 Conference and leaving the rivalry.
It's what college football is all about. The history, the tradition, the rivalry. It's what sets it apart from the other level where they get paid so much money.
One of the biggest wins for Kansas State during the Bill Snyder era was a huge win 1994 over Missouri, and they've gone back and forth over the past couple of decades big time. Today belongs to Kansas State, at least up to this point, especially because of the big second half from Hubert.
Have we seen a guy this year on the road in college football that's run as hard as John Hubert? Nola Michael James, we witnessed 280 yards and spectacular speed and fashion, but as far as getting everything out of 5'7", 185, Hubert gives you it all.
Mizzou needs points. Mizzou needs those points quickly. Agnew makes the grab. Stopped as soon as he grabs it by David Garrett. You see him back on the field. Left the game an injury earlier. So Missouri, who plays up-tempo, now has 11 minutes to get 3 scores. And this is exactly what the Tigers need, moving the football quickly downfield.
Sense of urgency, wouldn't be surprised at all if you see Mizzou with the pride they have and the talent they have. And this young kid has struggled today, but he is gifted.
How about that throw? Between the corner and the safety, but it's incomplete. Jackson couldn't stay in bounds.
Ooh, I don't know. It looks like that first foot may have tapped down before the right foot goes out of bounds.
Unlike the NFL, only need 1 foot down, and sure enough, this one's going to be reviewed.
Ruling on the field, pass is out of bounds. The play's under previous review.
He came back in bounds and makes that catch. That's, unless you're bumped out.
Unless you're forced out of bounds, you can't willingly go out of bounds and be the first to touch. But I think clearly, as long as he was in bounds during that entire route, that foot came down before the right foot, left one came down before the right came out of bounds.
And remember, sometimes when these replays go for a while, they're not just looking at that one part of the play. They can be looking at 2 or 3 parts of a play. They can be looking at timing. They can be looking at a lot of different things. So sometimes when they seem to drag on, they are looking for multiple things on multiple replays.
Now you're looking where to spot it, how much time on the clock, and everything else.
Here comes our call.
After further video review, it's determined the player caught the ball in bounds at the 37-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 from the 37.
which is what you anticipated, Brock.
That's a nice play from the senior captain, Jackson, and you highlighted one of the rare times where Franklin really let it rip. Right? You said, ooh, nice throw. The reason you said nice throw is he hit that back step. He threw it with great conviction. And he had a window of opportunity to get it into. Now you've got to finish this drive if you're Missouri.
He'd even draw ooh before the nice throw. Franklin pressured. Now he's going to scramble. Wide open up the middle. It's first down. Franklin takes the hit and rolls to the 17.
Line stunt up front. Kansas State not blitzing, still content to rush 4, but that stunt opened up the crease, and there you see some of the athleticism, one of the rare occasions where Franklin could get out.
So poised as he rolls. Now throws incomplete. Everybody covered up. Meshach Williams with the pressure there on James Franklin.
It is a relaxed look back there, isn't it? You don't see that much in studying the game. The number of times that Franklin will take that snap oblivious to everything else around him.
Franklin's pass bobbled and incomplete. Usually reliable Mo bobbles that one. Incomplete. 3rd and 10 coming here for Franklin. James Franklin, we got a nice shot out from Blake Griffin on the set of game day today.
Two teams that have been very good in this 4th quarter, especially Kansas State. Just 1 touchdown allowed all season long. 4-down territory for Missouri.
Franklin throws short of a first down. The pass is complete, but no question 4-down territory here. Agnew makes the catch. 4th down coming. This is 4th and 4. Franklin fires complete. First down, Mizzou. Fumble of the football. Picked up at the 5. Malone has it. Hartman knocked it free. Missouri turns it over, trying to drive and make this a ball game in the 4th, and the long day continues for Mizzou in Manhattan. Catch by Mo. Hartman forces the fumble.
We talked about them being sticky earlier in their zones. How about the senior Hartman, more than just sticky, making yet another statement, driving that football away from Mo.
Kansas State 9:37 away from 5-0.
Review, the receiver received the ball. His knee was on the ground. Therefore, he's down at the 7.5-yard line. 1st and goal from the 7.5.
Randy Crystal explains what was very clear on the video replay.
TJ Moe clearly knee down before all the other activity, the forced fumble and everything else. When he catches that ball on 4th down at the 7 and his knee is down, the play is dead right there. And that happened to be enough for a first down for Missouri and keep this drive alive.
And they will now respot the football. It's going to be 1st and goal for Missouri. Gary Pinkel's Tigers need to put it in the end zone now. Down by 19 with 9:37 to go against K-State. So what looked like a second critical turnover by Missouri turns out to be a completion, making it 1st and goal for the Tigers. The sophomore QB James Franklin, who's excelled on the road at Arizona State, at Oklahoma, struggling in Manhattan, Kansas, an opportunity to put it in the end zone and make this a tight game again. Flags down.
Offside defense, number 95. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
1st and goal from a little bit closer.
And it wouldn't just help to score a touchdown. It would really help if they can do it on the early downs here. They've done a nice job, has Missouri, of saving those timeouts. You make this a 14-point game, nearly 10 minutes to play. Still have plenty of opportunities.
Mizzou has really struggled to get it in the end zone from the red zone, not only today, but throughout the season.
Watch the quarterback draw in these situations.
High snap. Franklin corrals it. Lawrence is drilled in the backfield. Big loss. Back to the 11. Jordan Volker, the senior from Newton, Kansas, a lifelong Wildcat. His dad played here. Said his room was Wildcat purple all his life.
One of the very rare occasions that the Wildcats have brought more than 4 defenders. I think that's a play that Franklin would like to check out of when he sees a box count not favorable to his offense.
2nd and goal. Franklin complete. Moe short of the goal line, wrestled out of bounds. See where they spotted, right around the 2. 3rd and goal, Mizzou.
And a heady play there from the junior Moe, saving that timeout and getting out of bounds. And with this look, once again, these are box counts. Kansas State showing that same look. And one-on-ones across the board. I'd be surprised if this isn't a pass.
Franklin to the corner, batted away, incomplete. Malone there in coverage. Jackson, the intended receiver. Malone, who had what would have been a fumble if not overturned, knocks this away.
It would not have mattered anyway. He had stepped out of bounds previous to going up for that ball.
4th down and goal. Missouri needs a touchdown to stay in this game with Kansas State.
How about the sea of purple this afternoon? They've made some noise.
Josie. Close. Touchdown, Mizzou. Josie on the 2nd effort forces his way in. Tigers finally in the K-State end zone.
And if they don't make this 4th down, I don't know if there'd have been enough time, down 3 touchdowns the way K-State milks the clock, if they could have come back, and that is all Josie. Look at the 2nd effort. We're seeing Hubert on the other side. How about the little Josie at 5'10", 190, driving through contact, limping off the field for the critical touchdown.
Henry Josie's only carry of the drive goes for a critical touchdown. Grant wrestles PAT 24-10. Kickoff coming.
ESPN's college football on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Eat Sports, Cadillac, and the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Ice cream from the Call Hall Dairy Bar tastes a lot better after a K-State win around Manhattan. Missouri kicking off. Is this an onside kick, or do you kick it deep for Mizzou?
With 3 timeouts left, 8 minutes, and your defense has limited Kansas State to 220 total yards through 3.5 quarters. I think the smart play here is to kick it deep, trust your very veteran group defensively to force a 3 and out.
There's still 8:12 to go. But Kansas State's the type of team that can make 8:12 disappear off the clock with a long drive. Russell kicks it deep. Fielded at the 10. Garrett to about the 27-yard line. So 3 timeouts for Mizzou, 8:06 to go.
You know what you're going to get? It's going to be methodical. K-State's going to use every second of that play clock on these downs And if you're Missouri, you have to force that whole message defensively. During that drive, Dave Steckel telling his Missouri Tigers this must be a 3-and-out to have a real shot here to come back in the fourth.
97th meeting between Missouri and Kansas State. Colin Klein, the junior quarterback from Loveland, Colorado, who has 3 rushing touchdowns today. Keeper on first down. Klein trying to find the corner. Picks up maybe 2 on first down. Tuesdays this fall, Tim Allen returns to ABC. A new comedy about a man's man living in a house full of women. Tim Allen is Last Man Standing. Series premiere Tuesday, October 11th. This Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
It's one thing for a running back that's 6 foot 220 to take a lot of contact. When you're 6'5", look at the elbows of Klein. Look at the blood in the bandages now with 24 carries on the day.
Well, Snyder says, not an easy game to play. It's what we do. Klein's going to keep it again on second down. Popping the defenders as he goes to pick up a couple more, make it 3rd and manageable. And if Mizzou can get a stop on 3rd down here, it's a 2-touchdown game. Tigers have 3 timeouts. They would get the football with a stop on this 3rd down with about 7 minutes to go, maybe closer to 7:30. But first, you have to get the stop. Klein's pass batted away. Sheldon Richardson got his hand on the play to knock it away.
And that's a real heads-up play from the junior college transfer, College of Sequoias. You know you're not going to get home into the passer. Get your hands up. That was going to be a completion to McDonald. Probably move the chains. Give some real credit. We talked about transfers coming in and making an impact. Dave Steckel, well coached. Get your hands up and force the punt.
Mizzou defense gets a 3-and-out when the Tigers needed it most. Football from the 26 with exactly 6:32. Let's take a look at today's good hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Came in the punt game.
Can't do it any better. Get your defenders down there. You have the hang time, and you nail it. Did Ryan Dorr at the 1-yard line. Let's remember something about this Missouri team. They went on the road to ASU earlier this year, down 14. Had a dramatic comeback to force this game to overtime. They know how to come back.
Franklin's pass batted in the air, incomplete. Vi Latui, defensive tackle for K-State, managed to pop that one up in the air. One way or another, Kansas State makes fourth quarters interesting, whether they are coming back, whether they are trying to avoid a comeback. And like you said, Bob, this Missouri team has come back before. Tigers have played in 13 overtime games since overtime has been instituted, so Mizzou is used to playing tight games in the fourth quarter. Franklin rolling on second down to the 34-yard line to make it 3rd down and 2. Lemur finally makes a stop. Franklin and the Tigers in the hurry-up. On 3rd and 2. That's Jackson who makes the grab for a first down for Mizzou at the 49.
See the eyes there of Franklin. He had the little out route to Mo inside. Those eyes and track that corner just enough to allow the window to Jackson outside.
Missouri attempting to come back and get its first road win against a ranked team since 1997. James Franklin tucks it, runs, and gets out of bounds at the 36. Touchdown drive last time Franklin and Mizzou had the football. A touchdown this time would make it a 1-score game.
There you see the conversation. D coordinator Steckel to head coach Pinkel. Now you're probably talking about onside kick if you score a touchdown depending on clock time.
Franklin complete. Agnew makes the grab at the 29. Clock rolling at 5:43. Missouri still has all 3 of its timeouts. finds Agnew again inside the 20. There's a foul. Pass is intercepted. K-State football. Ty Zimmerman wrestles it away from Michael Agnew. Now will this takeaway stand for the Wildcats?
Sure looks like it before Agnew gets down on the ground. Zimmerman rips the ball away. Is that elbow down, though, before the ball is ripped out?
We'll have a look.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Kansas State. The previous play.
That's not just
is under
those
further video
knees.
review.
That right elbow of Agnew, does that make
New.
Let's take a look here. I think clearly both knees are not down. This all becomes about that right elbow that he happens to hit the face mask with. That may save K-State here. Hand down, that doesn't matter. Does that right elbow make contact with the ground before the ball starts to come out? And that is awfully close.
Rulebook says when any part of the ball carrier's body except his hand or foot touches the ground. So it's usually the knee, but not always the knee. Any part of the ball carrier's body except his hand or foot touches the ground.
Yeah, the knees are definitely up. Even that left knee, that ball's out before the knee touches. This all comes down to, is that indisputable that that right elbow was down before the ball came out. I don't see enough there. If that replay booth, and you talked to him before the game, said, I need a very clear picture to overturn that call. I don't think this is enough of a picture. Also, don't know if this is going to be confirmed. I think it's going to be as called on the field.
After first video review, it's determined that the ball carrier's elbow was on the ground. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line.
The call is reversed, even though from what we looked at,
Awfully
Brock,
close. Hey, I can the booth is right next to us, and that is it just does not get any closer than this. And they must have felt like right when that elbow touches, the ball is still in his hands, and that is as close as it can get.
surprised that that is overturned, however. I'm surprised. The Missouri comeback attempt continues. From inside the 20, James Franklin to the air. It's Agnew who makes the grab. Agnew takes the hit, stretches, touchdown Mizzou. And with 5 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the fourth, Missouri is a touchdown away from coming back on the Cats in Manhattan.
They said they want to get the All-American tight end activated within this offense, and was he down before he crosses the goal line?
Under further video review, the theme of the second half here in Manhattan.
And he is definitely, I think I can stand that he was down with that ball not crossing the plane of the goal line.
Agnew's elbows are factoring big here in the fourth.
And once again, that right elbow, that certainly looks down before the ball crosses the plane.
And think about that goal line like a plane of glass.
After further video review, the ball will be placed at the half-yard line.
I think if they had reversed that one, our referee, Randy Crystal, would have looked like the All-State guy trying to get out of town.
And look at poor Randy. Looking up and down the field. He's running some wind sprints back and forth to that replay booth.
This is first and goal. Mizzou looks to score and score quickly. First and goal. Franklin Touchdown, Mizzou. And now Missouri is a touchdown away from an improbable comeback in Manhattan.
And you're going to kick it deep. What a wonderful job by Missouri to not have to burn any timeouts on that drive. Just 2.5 minutes to cut this all the way to 7. And there you see some of the strength in the legs of the young sophomore.
Tigers did it in Tempe to force OT. And now as the rain falls on the plains in Kansas, Mizzou a touchdown away from doing it again. On September 9th of this year, fourth quarter at Arizona State against a ranked Arizona State team. It was a 2-touchdown deficit for Mizzou in the fourth. They came back on the Sun Devils, forced overtime. Arizona State eventually wins in overtime. Missouri needed 3 touchdowns in the fourth. They had 2. And now Ressel will kick it deep again, just like the last time when Missouri forced a 3-and-out defensively. Garrett brought down at about the 21, so now Mizzou still having 3 timeouts. That is critical, Brock.
Look at the productivity, the sense of urgency. Missouri fans are going to wonder, well, where was that the rest of the game? Well, they have not hurt themselves. Gary Pinkel's team has turned it around in the fourth quarter. They've converted critical third downs. They've avoided the negative penalties and fumbled snaps. You'd expect his teams to play sharp. He's just too good of a coach coming off a bye week, and they finally found that rhythm and that tempo in this fourth quarter.
Hubert on first down. Hubert, positive gain, moving the chains close to it. We check in with Robert.
Tech trailing at home. Carter.
Hokies trying to bounce back there in Blacksburg. Here in Manhattan, Kansas, K-State appeared to be right on the verge of going for 5-0 for the first time since 2000. 2 touchdowns by Missouri in the fourth have made every snap, every down critical. Hubert moves the chains and more. Hubert running away from the Missouri D. Stays inbounds to the 44.
And how about Hubert now up over 100 yards? He had the shot earlier. He's running through the Missouri defense. That's picking your spots. That's exactly what Coach Snyder said to us yesterday. Is he a game breaker? Is he going to take it the distance? Probably not. But as far as his patience in his field and allowing the play to develop in front of him and then hitting it with his quickness, that's why Hubert's at 100 yards today.
3 timeouts for Missouri. When do the Tigers start taking timeouts?
I think now on this set of downs, you've got to think about, especially if you get a good stop here on first down.
Hubert on first down. There's the stop. No timeout yet. Andrew Wilson makes the stop, so it's second down. If Missouri can come up with a stop with the way that the Tigers offense is built for hurry up, there's time on the clock for another touchdown drive.
Absolutely. They have shown that this quarter. And that's where the advantage of being a no-huddle, up-tempo team really comes into play. Probably a big reason why they came back at Arizona State. And frankly, been a really good fourth-quarter team this season, outscoring their opponents 52-14 coming into the final frame.
Mizzou's already scored more points against K-State in the fourth than the Wildcats have given up the whole year. Hubert dropped right in midfield, bringing up third down. Luke Lambert there on the stop. And here's a timeout for Missouri. Big third down. James Franklin, the sophomore quarterback for Missouri, has engineered 2 rapid touchdown drives for the Tigers to make this a tight one with 2:51 to go. Now the Tiger defense needs to come up with a stop on third down and 3. Bill Snyder's Cats used to tight fourth quarters throughout his 20 years as the Kansas State head coach. Out of the timeout, this is third down and 3. Klein keeps it, rolls, throws, caught, first down, Kansas State. Andre McDonald, the tight end, makes the catch, 19-yard pickup. and somehow again, K-State finds a way.
Somehow, some way, I told you up here in the booth before the game, Carter, I said, you've got number 18 on your little depth chart. He's not listed in the 2 deep. I said, make sure you put the 6'8", 276-pounder on your play sheet. I don't even know, frankly, if that ball was meant for him, but that big glove able to reel it in.
Sophomore from Choctaw, Oklahoma, converts for K-State. Now it's run the football, run the clock, spin those timeouts. Hubert to the 30. Clock still rolling. Near 2 minutes. Gary Pinkel has 2 timeouts left. So second down, that's where you anticipate a timeout?
Absolutely. And you can fully anticipate that K-State will play the odds. This is going to be run. You're going to milk every second. And he thought kickers could become a storyline this afternoon, and they've turned into it. On the other side, Wrestle, 2 big missed field goals for Missouri. And Anthony Cantelli, more than likely, is going to have to make a kick here in the final 2 minutes.
With 11:23 to go in this game, it was all K-State, 24-3. And yet somehow, some way, with the Wildcats, it always comes down to the closing minutes of the game. Timeout, Mizzou. Minute 29 to go.
Hubert scores! Touchdown, Kansas State!
Great goal line stand by that Kansas State defense.
Colin Prime lowers his shoulder. Touchdown! Kansas State will upset the Baylor Bears in an incredible fourth-quarter comeback, 36-35.
Those are the big wins for K-State. It also went down to the wire with Eastern Kentucky to start the year. And here's K-State in another tight one in the 4th. 3rd down and 11. Hubert rolling near the first down marker, but there is a big flag near the line of scrimmage.
And that is thrown in the vicinity of typically holding, but it looks like it may be holding on Missouri.
Personal foul, defense, number 9, hands to the face. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Correction, half the distance from the end of the run. First down.
That could be a game-ending penalty. It likely will be a game-ending penalty. Illegal hands to the face against the nose guard, Dominique Hamilton, senior. Minute 21 to go in the 4th. 7-point game. 1st and 10 from just outside the 10. Bobble on the snap is scary when you're going to see Kansas State keep it on the ground here. Gary Pinkel gets that timeout granted, stopping the clock at 1:04. That's the last timeout for Missouri. So the Tigers need a takeaway in the last minute 4 down inside the 10. ABC Sundays this fall. What if every storybook character you ever knew, like Pinocchio, or thought you knew, was real? ABC's Once Upon a Time. Series premieres Sunday, October 23rd at 8/7 Central on ABC.
And what a devastating single play. You've done everything to get yourself back in the game. You're down 3 touchdowns. The odds are so long in this stadium against a Bill Snyder coach team. You get it to a 3rd down situation. Unfortunately, your senior D tackle gets his hands up into the headgear, drawing the 15-yard penalty. And all of that hard work may be for naught here as K-State milks this game away.
Comforting. No risk here. Klein takes a knee. Kansas State will be 5-0 for the first time since 2000. Happy birthday weekend, Bill Snyder. The man who took one of the most moribund programs in all of college football to the heights of conference championships, top 25, double-digit wins. When he retired, the program dipped. He came back. Here they are again, Kansas State, one way or another, top 25, 5-0, and as you look ahead, there's a chance for a real big game here in Manhattan in just a few weeks.
You go on the road to Lubbock, a difficult place to play, then it's at Kansas, and you're exactly right. Oklahoma coming to town, and can Bill Snyder and his Wildcats be 7-0? I wouldn't doubt them.
Tigers fall to 2-3, 0-2 in Big 12 conference play. 97th meeting between Mizzou and K-State goes to the Wildcats. From Brock Hewitt and our entire hardworking crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's head back to the studios. Scott Van Pelt and Jesse Palmer.